Welcome to, oh my gosh, that was great. Welcome to the Board Game Community Show, where we talk to people throughout the community, the board game community. Hey, go figure. I'm your host, Riley Stock, and today I've got Phil. Do you want your last name in this?
Don't really mind. No one really knows it on the podcast, so it's fine.
Okay. Phil from Organized Fun, the podcast. How's it going?
Yeah, hi. Not bad. I just, thanks for having me on. This is my first time guesting on someone else's podcast, so that's pretty awesome.
I'm really excited to have you. I normally listen to podcasts in the summer while I'm on the road a lot, driving, and so yours was on my list, and then I pushed it forward because you were going to come up, and I was like, I better check out at least one episode, and I was like, this is really good.
Better make sure it's not completely rubbish before you have me on.
Exactly. So no, I really, really enjoyed it. I started this morning, and I think that I have listened to, you know what? I have it right here. I'll just pull it up because I was listening to it before you came on too. So I started on the Arkham Horror Final Hour.
Oh, yeah. Have you played it?
No, but I started it because I was at Barnes & Noble a couple days ago, and it was on sale there for like 30% off. So nice. Now I may go back, but I don't know. I haven't played any of the Arkham Horror games, so...
well, I probably wouldn't... well, you've listened to the episode. It's not the best one.
And that's what I kind of got, but I was like, well, maybe then maybe I won't have the comparison.
Yeah, that's true, I suppose.
And so I'll be like, oh, it's not that bad.
Yeah, maybe. If it's your first Arkham experience, it might be really good.
Yeah. I almost bought it, but I thought that it was an expansion.
No.
And then I listened to the Isle of Cats one and Hogwarts Battle, and I think I'm listening to another one right now. But nice. The Hogwarts Battle one is one of my... Hogwarts Battle's like my wife and I's go-to game.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, I mean, so we get it, obviously, months after you guys do in the States. So we still don't even have the Charms and Potions expansion in this country yet. So I got it from America.
It's fun. I enjoy it.
I enjoy it, but I'm really bad at it. Like... Obviously, you play through a year at a time and you have to open the next box and stuff.
Yeah.
We're still on like year 3 because we're so bad.
That's awesome. You started on Valentine's Day, I guess, huh?
Yeah, maybe. I can't remember.
Well, then I'll tell you. You did.
Okay. I'll update my calendar.
Thank you. So that next year you can celebrate the anniversary of starting it. By then you'll be on book 5.
Yeah.
No, the expansions are actually really fun. They add quite a bit.
That's cool. I mean, I'm the kind of person that buys all the expansions even if I'm not ready to play with them yet. So I've got tons of these sealed secret boxes just waiting. Probably open them and they'll all have gone moldy or something.
I totally understand that. You play, I was looking at your site, and you have the frag. That's your rating system.
Yeah.
I'm going to see if I can get it, because I haven't heard it that many times.
It's all right. We still forget it, even though we've been doing it for months.
Oh, good.
Yep, fun.
Replayability.
Yep.
Art?
The sort of aesthetic. But yeah, so the general, the way it looks.
Oh, no, I don't know what G is.
Gameplay. Just like...
Gameplay,
like how easy the rules are to understand, I guess.
Yeah. So I was looking through, and your highest rated frag game is one of my favorite games.
Oh, Legendary.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, it's so good. It was the first sort of deck builder that we played, like ever. This is pre-podcast. And so obviously the premise of Organised Fun is that I really love games and my co-host Mark is not so into them. But this is one that he will go back to time and time and again. He loves it. He won't complain about it. And quite often he's like, can we play Legendary? And I'm like, no, because it's not its turn. It's not its turn to be played.
Have you done multiple episodes on Legendary? Because you guys play more?
No. So usually I do. So our first episode playing the game will be like the base game, and then if there's an expansion, we'll do an expansion episode on it. But because Legendary, it doesn't really add anything new in terms of gameplay. It's just new characters or new masterminds or whatever. So there's not really anything like groundbreakingly different to talk about. So we haven't done any expansion episodes on it. No, we just play it a lot and don't record it.
That was something I really enjoyed. So in the middle of the episode, sometimes you'll cut to clips of you guys playing it. And I loved that because I was like, oh, I have a little context there of what you're talking about. Do you record your full playthrough then?
Yeah, we do, which, you know, for something quick like Flux is an easy editing job. But for something like, so we played, oh God, what was it? We played like a game of Monopoly, which we were recording for about 3-4 hours and editing through that and trying to pick the nuggets. Because quite a lot of it is just procedural, you know, you owe me £4 rent or whatever. You know, that's not interesting. But occasionally you get the odd gem where someone will say something hilarious. And I think that's just, it's worth catching because, you know, I guess board games, they're a social thing. And that's where, you know, these gems, these sort of friendship memories. Look, I'm on a total board game pitch, aren't I now? It's where these friendship memories, you know, it's where they're made, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And you just blew my mind because I think of Monopoly as just an American game.
No, well, I was really surprised. So sometimes, you know, we're not like an information podcast, really, but sometimes if a question comes up, we'll look it up and we'll find out. I was convinced that Monopoly was a British game because obviously I'm only ever used to seeing the streets of London around the board. But when we looked it up and it was like invented by an American woman or whatever, I was like, what?
Yeah.
Who? How dare she? What is this?
So funny.
Park Place or whatever it's called. What's your most expensive one?
I have no idea. It's been so long since I played Monopoly.
It's but yeah.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
What's your most expensive one? Do you know?
It's called Mayfair.
Oh, okay.
Which
I've
is
heard
like
the name Mayfair.
It's a really swanky district in London. Do you know the department store Harrods? It's like this. So that's in Mayfair.
Oh, okay.
It's like where all the rich people go shopping.
Fancy.
Yeah.
That's cool. It's interesting that they don't just give you, like, you're playing the London version.
Yeah, I guess. Well, is it the same for you guys? You can pretty much get a Monopoly version for every main city in the UK. So there's a Cardiff one, there's a Birmingham one, there's a Manchester. Name a big city and there will be a Monopoly version of it. Is that the same for you guys, or is it?
No, we just have, ours is just New York, I guess.
Fair enough.
I mean, so there's other Monopolies, like Mario Monopoly and whatever, you know, there's so many IPs out there that they do.
You name it and there'll be a Monopoly of it.
Dang, now I'm thinking, like, I wonder if there's a West Coast Monopoly or something. I'll have to look it up.
Which would be, I mean, again, don't forget you're talking to a complete USA idiot, but which would be the most boring state to have a Monopoly board of?
Oh my goodness. It's got to be somewhere in the Midwest, like Minnesota. You've been to Minnesota.
I have been to, but you say that, but Minnesota has the headquarters of Fantasy Flight Games. It has the headquarters of Z-Man Games. There, you know, Roseville, in, Minnesota, Minneapolis is where it's at for board games.
That is a good point. I mean, maybe if you do something like Arkansas, or there's got to be a state that doesn't have very good, like landmarks, or isn't. There's a lot of just like farming states, I feel like.
Are there any states that there's just nothing there? It's just a bit of a wasteland.
I mean, Utah feels that way. And that's where I'm from, so.
Well, there you go. That's Salt Lake City and all that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. So I want to jump back to Marvel Legendary.
Oh yeah, do it.
Do you play the other ones?
Yeah. So we have X-Files Legendary. I've got Firefly, Aliens, Buffy. and sort of the 007 James Bond one is the next on my list to buy.
Oh, nice.
So again, it's the same as Monopoly, even though it's the same sort of game. I just love all the different, themes and slight variations, the way they change it and make it sort of specific to that thing. Obviously, there's a big difference between Legendary, the normal, and Legendary Encounters that plays slightly differently.
Okay, I was wondering if you can mix them.
I don't know. I think so. Oh, I can't remember. I think in the instruction book it says it's like semi-compatible or something.
Interesting.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I think, the rule book for like Aliens, I'm sure it says that you can mix other sets, so you can have like Marvel superheroes fighting off the alien queen or whatever.
Interesting.
Which would, you'd pay to see that, right?
Yeah, definitely. Well, Marvel now, or I guess Disney owns Aliens, so that's not even that unrealistic.
No, that is true. And also an interesting / frightening prospect. I mean, like, can you imagine a Disney-fied version of Aliens?
Yeah, I don't know. Do you think they would go PG-13, or do you think they'd just let it be R? Wait, do you have different ratings? Oh my gosh, I'm so ignorant to different countries.
Yes, we do. So wait, hang on. Your PG-13, I guess, would be the same. So right, we have PG, which is parental guidance. Then we have 12. And then we have 15.
Have 12?
Yeah.
Oh.
So 12, 15, 18. Because you don't have 18, right? You have, is it NC-17? Is that your highest one?
R is.
Oh, right. What would you expect from an R? Like blood and guts and all that?
Yeah, blood, guts, and they can say the F word as much as they want.
Okay. All right. So that would be the equivalent of R18. So I guess your NC-17 would be the same as R15, maybe?
Actually, I think I don't know. I've never seen a thing that's NC-17. I almost feel like NC-17 is like...
Oh, is that like made up for Hollywood? Like, does that not exist?
Yeah, I don't even know anymore. I thought that they did... Yeah, I have to look it up.
There you go.
We have PG-13.
Every day is a school day.
Yeah, right? There's G, PG, PG-13, and R.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot. Right at the bottom end of the scale, there's U for Universal. Like anyone, pretty much.
Okay.
That's like kids' stuff like, I don't know, Shrek. Or most Disney films, like animated ones, they're U.
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing offensive about them at all.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I feel like we could just explore the differences here between our countries.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, how long have you been doing your podcast?
We're in year 3 at the minute. So, yeah, about 2.5 years, I guess.
Very cool. And how long have you and Mark known each other?
So we have been together 15 years.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Are you guys married? Are you...
No, we're sort of engaged, but sort of that was years ago, and we've kind of, I don't know, got used to maybe that not happening.
Okay. Now in America, we've got common law marriage.
Right.
Where if you're together for 7 years, I think, living together for 7 years, you're considered married, essentially.
What, you automatically just level up? Is that like a legal thing? Like,
yeah.
No way.
So you can do it with your taxes and stuff. And
oh, wow. I might look that up. I've heard the term common law, but I just thought it was another sort of just made up sort of thing.
Oh, no. So you guys don't have anything like that there?
Well, I'm not sure. You've got me questioning it now.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, just sort of, how life gets in the way. And so, we've got a flat or an apartment, as you might say, on your side of the water. Got all the furniture, got the cat, just sort of get on with it.
What's your cat's name?
Alfie.
Alfie, love it.
Yeah.
We have 2 cats, so totally
nice.
Get that.
Cats are the best, but not very board game friendly, I find.
No. I am fairly certain that I'm missing several game pieces because cats will just knock it off the table and play with it.
How can you cope with the knowledge that some of your pieces might be missing? That would eat me up.
I know. I just have to. Luckily, I think that it's like. Have you played Marvel Champions?
So I've got it, but I only got it very recently. Like I got it maybe 2 weeks ago, so I haven't had a chance to play it yet.
Okay. That's one of my favorite games. But I mean, you can essentially think with like Hogwarts. I guess it might be one or two of the coins or a heart missing.
Okay.
Oh, not the heart. Because the hearts are valuable.
Yeah, they're like limited, aren't they?
Yeah,
one of the
battle pieces.
Ministry of Magic coins. That can
Yeah.
go. Yeah.
So if it's one of those, I'm like, okay, more than likely this will never become a problem. But
no, it's those kind of tokens that you're never going to run out of anyway. So
exactly.
Yeah.
But cats are so mischievous.
Yeah. Well, so Alfie just hates a closed door. So obviously we shut him out when we were recording just because he'll be, as you say, all over the game board and stealing the pieces and whatever. But he just sits outside and cries. So you can often hear him in the background of our
I did hear a cat in a recent episode.
Yeah. It's kind of one of our catchphrases of just, can you hear the cat? Because
funny.
9 times out of 10, you can hear the cat.
I have to leave my door open when I'm recording so that you don't hear banging against the door because both of them will paw at the door until you let them in.
Nice. But I suppose that's why we love them.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know what it is about cats that make us love them so much. They're the worst pets, but they're the best.
Well, I think it's because I like how sort of uncaring they are. You know how like a dog, like it relies on you, it needs you, it loves you. Whereas a cat, it's like, meh, I could quite happily survive if you were dead.
Totally, yes.
And I quite like
it's almost like an abusive relationship where they've created this like, you just want their attention. You want their affection. Yes. And if they give you it every once in a while, you're like, that's enough. That's enough for me to stay. Like,
yeah, and I don't know how they do it, but they make it so you need them more than they need you.
Yeah, totally. So what do you and Mark do outside of board games?
So, I mean, jobs-wise, I'm a secondary school teacher. And Mark sort of runs an art centre, I guess. It's got like a theatre and an art gallery and a dance studio and a cafe and that sort of thing.
Oh, wow.
Although
that's really cool.
You know, with COVID, not much going on in the art centre at the moment.
Yeah, that makes sense. Are you both home a lot more?
Yeah, so I was at home a lot doing all my lessons virtually online, but now I'm back in school, so...
Nice. Not hybrid or anything?
How do you mean?
Oh, my wife's a teacher and she does hybrid. So part of it's online and part of it's in person.
Yeah, for like the first week back, it was half and half. But now, like all the kids are back in. There's only one class where I've got one kid that's still shielding. So I have to be in the classroom teaching the kids for real, but also online for this one kid, which is... a bit of a stretch.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that, I think my wife's at that point. She's got 3 kids online and the rest are in person.
Yeah. Which is difficult because I feel so sorry for this one kid that's online because, you know, about 30% of the time, all he hears is me telling the others to sit down and shut up.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what do you do?
I help people improve their soil health.
Oh, cool.
Very different, but I just drive around to farms mainly and help them improve it with microbes.
Excellent. There you go. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty sciencey, right?
You would think my dad came up with it. He developed this product and everything.
Oh, no way.
So I guess technically I'm a salesman, but I just don't ever feel like a salesman.
Have you ever thought about making it into a board game?
I have.
Because that's the kind of, you know, improve your soil and by the end, who's got the best soil wins sort of thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
I think you should
I did. I was going to make a farming game where, it'll have like weather cards and you roll a die and what you roll will tell you if it's raining or sunny or what exactly the temperature is or whatever. And then your crops will benefit or get hurt from it. And then I wanted to add, the product is called Back to Feed. Right. So I wanted to add a Back to Feed expansion that would introduce like really taking care of your soil with microbes and organic and doing no-till and all this other other regenerative agriculture practices. So.
That's cool.
Do you design ever?
Not with any degree of professionalism, but like from a young age. So do you know the game Talisman?
Yes, yeah.
So my friend, I'm talking, I don't know, when I was like 6 or 7, like little kid. And my friend had a copy of Talisman, but like we couldn't afford it at the time. So I got my paper and my crayons and I drew my own board and I cut all my own little cards out. And, it looked probably proper shoddy. But I took it round and I made like my mum and my uncles sit down. I was like, we are playing this game and you are going to love it. And because I was such a young child, they all pretended that it was the best night of their lives.
That is awesome.
But yeah, so it's like since that, I just love the way that games work and the way that they're put together. And I don't know about you, but like, sometimes if you play one that you're not loving so much, just my mind spirals with like, oh, if I'd made this, I'd do it this way, or I'd change this bit, or I'd tweak it this way. So
yeah. Oh yeah.
Quite a lot of the things that I do are, I guess, well, I don't want to use the term rip-offs, but, are adaptations of existing game mechanics, but tweaked the way how I would have done them, if that makes sense.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. I think most designers start out that way or continue to do things like that. I mean,
yeah,
you could look at Legendary as a spin-off of Dominion, like...
Well, yeah, because I guess in like... All right, so I teach English. So, they say that there's only about 7 or 8 story structures ever.
Yeah.
And all narratives are just variations on the theme. So it must be pretty similar for board games. There must only be a very sort of finite amount of game mechanics or ways that it can work. And every board game must just be an alteration / combination of the different elements, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. That makes perfect sense to me. And then... yeah, it's just like different interpretations of the same thing, but it can feel so different or combining it with something else. Yeah. The thing I love about designing board games is that it feels like problem solving.
Yeah.
And so it's like, how can I make this work? Like, just like you said, where if you're playing a game that's not quite vibing with you, it's like, what would make it work for me?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why I know I keep banging on about your rulebook episode on Nerding Out, but I am fascinated by how rulebooks are put together and how they work.
I love that you listened to that episode because I'm so embarrassed about the audio quality on that one, but it's a good one. And I feel like people won't listen to it because of the audio quality.
But then I would argue if you're put off by the audio quality, then are you a true fan? Are you truly interested in what the content is? Like
that's yeah.
Because as I said, fascinated by rulebooks, big loser. So I wouldn't care. I wouldn't care about the slightly dodgy audio quality because I'm genuinely interested in what you guys were talking about.
That's true. Well, thank you. And that's a different podcast. Nerding Out was another podcast that I was doing and still do. Just he's having a baby, so we haven't done episodes in a while.
Rude.
I know. How dare he? I don't have babies so that we can record episodes. I expect the same consideration.
We're at the point where, like a lot of our friends are having kids and stuff. And it's like, well, that's you not coming to game night then for the next 3 years.
Yeah.
But I'm also not considering, if they were like, hey, we can come, but we need to bring the baby. I'd be like, no.
That's okay. On your site, you had like a list of board game etiquette.
Oh, yes. Oh,
And I was like,
I loved
I would
coming up with
love
that
to
list.
play with these people. These are my type of people.
Oh, I'm glad. Most people read that list and they must think that I'm some sort of board game control freak Nazi kind of person, but I'm not. I'm just, they're all for the good of the gaming experience.
Exactly. Yeah. It's like once you begin the game, like let's just focus on the game. Let's
Yeah,
have fun within the game.
absolutely. Because I think, all right, different people will play games for different reasons, but for me, like for that hour or two, the game is my focus. I am in the game. I am this explorer in a dungeon, or I'm this soldier fighting monsters. Whatever. That is my life for that moment in time.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. That gaming time is precious.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, especially now, because I don't know what your COVID situation is, but we're still not allowed any visitors like around the house or anything. So any games that we have been playing, we've had to do like online over Zoom or whatever, which limits the types of games you can play. Really.
Yep. We're pretty similar. I think people are allowed over and everything. It's not super tight, but we generally just don't.
Yeah.
Just to be safe. With vaccines coming, we'll probably start. If everyone's vaccinated, we'll.
That is true. Are you guys
start doing it?
Is yours being rolled out by age bracket, same as us?
Yeah, and ours actually on Wednesday. So in 2 days from now, it'll be open to everybody. So I'll be able to get mine. But teachers actually got. They were they were the first batch of people to get it.
Ah, I see. So we haven't, they've stuck to age, not profession. Okay. It doesn't matter what job you do.
Oh, really?
You have to wait your turn. So, yeah, I'll be quite right. Right, rude question. Like, how old are you?
32.
Ah!
You?
35.
Oh, okay. Pretty close there.
Yeah, same age bracket, same amount time to wait for the vaccine, so...
Yeah. So, Mark not being a super big board gamer.
Yeah.
Have you... Well, I mean, Isle of Cats was his game, right?
Yes, so I got that for him for... Oh, maybe that was a Valentine's Day present. That was a Valentine's Day gift. So,
nice.
We played it for him. That's why he hosted that episode. It was his first time in charge.
Yeah, he did great. I enjoyed it. It was only my second episode listening, so for all I knew, this is how it was.
Yeah.
Has he kind of converted more and more to really enjoying board games?
I think he's never going to be like me, which sounds really awful. But like, I will literally play anything. I do not care because I just love the gaming experience. Whereas he, there are more that he is now open to playing because of me forcing him to play stuff every week. But there are still some that he will just flat out hate. So I'm trying to think of an example of one that he really doesn't like. Something like, do you know Cthulhu Wars?
No.
It's kind of like Cthulhu Risk, if you like. You've got a map of the world and giant eldritch horrors sort of stomping about, claiming territories and stuff. But no, forget that. Right, Arkham Horror, the card game. He will not play. He played it once when we did our episode on it, but now whenever it comes back round, I just have to play it on my own because he won't play with me.
Oh no! So that is. Like Marvel Champions is like a light version of that game. Yeah,
which I'm hoping might sort of ease him back into that mechanic because, as I said, he loves Legendary, he loves the Marvel sort of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that might, be a bit of a step back up to Arkham. But the good thing about those games, I mean, like Arkham works perfectly well as a solo game anyway, so I don't need him.
Yeah, totally. I hear that game is... I haven't actually played any of the Arkham horror games.
Yeah.
But I hear that one's better with more people. So I put off buying it until we can have game nights again.
It is... I guess the trouble is you can only play 2 players per core set. So if you wanted to play with more, you'd need to buy another core set, which I sort of was reluctant to do. Yeah, it also helps having other people, because I'm quite bad for all for all the sort of stuff that I harp on about how much I love board games. I'm not actually that good at them. like strategically, I'm not that good at planning how I'm going to win or how I'm going to beat the boss or get to the treasure or whatever. I just play for the fun of it. I'm really rubbish at them.
I love it though, because it's more about just being in the moment and enjoying what's going on.
Yeah, absolutely. I think everyone likes to win, but it's not a deal breaker for me, I don't think.
Same, yeah. There's times where hopefully my wife doesn't listen to this episode, but I'll throw a game just to make sure that she has a little more fun, because it matters a little more to her.
So do you think winning, because this is something we've spoke about on our podcast, is like, do you think winning contributes to how you enjoy the game? Like, I guess if a game's too difficult, does it color your opinion of it?
Not for me. I just love playing games, and that's Marvel Champions. I'm playing through the different scenarios on expert, and I'm losing way more than I win, but I have fun just trying to.
Yeah.
Every once in a while there's like I'll lose within the first 2 or 3 rounds, and I'm like, well, there was absolutely nothing I could have done to change that outcome. But if I feel like I put up a good fight, then I enjoy it. And that's for solo, but even in competitive, I'm just like, as long as everybody's having fun, we're good, and that my wife, I think, is more so she needs the victory.
She needs to
first
win.
Time she plays. Yeah. So
if she doesn't win straight away, the game must be broken, right?
Exactly. Does Mark care more about winning?
Not necessarily. I guess if a game's too hard, I think he has to be able to see the possibility of winning, if you get me. Sometimes, like you're saying, if you die or get eliminated too quickly, it's like you can't even, I can't work out what I could have done differently to change that outcome. And I think that's quite a turn off for him anyway.
Yeah, I mean, that makes total sense to me. If it's a lost cause from the beginning, it's kind of like, well, that was a waste of 10, 15 minutes or longer.
Do you know the game Legends of Andor?
No. It sounds really familiar.
Yeah, it's made by Cosmos, and it's this big map, this big fantasy map, and all the bad guys move on a numbered route towards the castle, and if the castle gets overrun, then you lose. But obviously you have little side quests, get to space 60 and pick up this, and then get to space 40, whatever. But that is so difficult. And we've tried with all the different combinations of well, if I'm the elf because he can move further, and you be the rogue because he can use an eagle, and we've tried every single combination of characters, and we still cannot get past mission 2. And again, there's 12 or so missions, and we're just there's this whole over 3/4 of the game that we've never even seen because this first bit is so impossibly difficult.
Oh man, that would be really frustrating.
Yeah.
Going back to Hogwarts Battle, one of the expansions, we beat the first one. We struggled to beat the first game in the first expansion,
right.
And then the second one we haven't been able to beat, and we've played it several times, and it's just oh my gosh, are we ever going to finish this? I want to know the next cards.
So yeah, did you cheat and open the next box anyway? Even though no, good. That is the correct answer.
I'm such a avoid spoiler type that I could not do that. I take it you haven't, right?
No, not at all. I've it's to the point where I've had, because the first expansion is the monster box of monsters, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, so all of those are still sealed. I've had them for I don't know, 3 years, 4 years, a long time. And
Oh boy.
they're just sitting in the box waiting for us to win enough to get there.
Wow. That's how I feel about the next expansion. We bought both of them at the same time, but
All right.
it's like, yeah, lucky us.
Yeah, well, because that one, it says, you have to be at like game 6, don't you, to be able to play that one?
Yes.
And,
yeah, both of the expansions are game 6.
We are not there yet.
Actually, I think that the Box of Monsters, the first game is after 5, and then the second game is 6, or something like that.
Cool.
Did you, so with your, with Mark being such a Marvel head, did you get Marvel United? Did you back that?
No, that's the one with the sort of little chibi style character artwork, isn't it? Like little squidgy, big heady people. Yeah, I don't know much about that. It's sort of passed me by. Have you got it?
Yeah, I think it's shipping out here in the US today.
Oh, right. There you go.
So I won't get it. I probably won't get it for a month. I don't know how long they take to ship throughout.
Yeah.
But that's one of the things with Kickstarters is generally you get them before the US. I feel like the US is the last to get them.
Where is Kickstarter based?
Well, most companies manufacture from China.
Yeah.
And so they ship it from China, and so it'll hit Asian countries will get it first, and then it just sweeps that way.
Fair enough.
And it's not like they go from China towards California, towards our West Coast.
Yeah.
But they always go to Florida, which is the opposite. So they have to go even further. I'm like, why don't you just send a boat towards California and get it to us sooner?
Nah, too simple, that one.
Yeah, or at least that's how I think it is. I could be wrong. I don't know.
So have you backed a lot of Kickstarter stuff?
Not a ton. Maybe 6 or 7 things. You?
No. I think it's the kind of thing that I would easily fall down a Kickstarter rabbit hole and end up just backing loads and loads and loads. And just probably ending up bankrupt.
I totally understand that, because luckily my wife tells me no, but she does let me get some, or it'll be like, hey, this will be my birthday.
Yeah.
Let's make this. I know it's a couple months early, but you don't have to give me any gift for my birthday. And so sometimes I get them that way, but
that's cool. I just think, I mean, okay, right. What's the most expensive board game that you have bought in one go?
It would be this Marvel United. I went all in.
Yeah. What did you get? Did you get some juicy perks?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Because you get all the Kickstarter exclusives. You get expansion packs.
Nice.
Because I think there's 6 total. There might be 7 total boxes.
Nice. That's going to be a big delivery waiting on your doorstep one day.
Yeah. And then it comes with a play mat and cardboard upgrades and
nice
stuff like that. So I went all out. Marvel stuff I'm a total sucker for.
Well, that's good. I mean, you've got your, the thing that you're passionate about, and go for it.
Yeah. So Marvel Legendary for you ranked the highest, but is that your favorite game?
Me personally, no. But because obviously, so the frag rating on our website is a combination of my scores and Mark's scores. So the ones that I like are usually the ones that he doesn't. So he brings the average down. My favorite is probably Arkham Horror 2nd Edition. That was the first. So I played Talisman and stuff when I was younger, and then I when I went to uni and grew up, I guess, drifted away from board games, because I suppose, when you go to uni, you move away from home and you sort of get used to living without so many belongings. And so, I couldn't be trekking around shelves and shelves of board games whenever I had to change my student house sort of thing. But then, obviously, after graduation and all that, and getting a place of our own, sort of, it meant I'd got the space. I've got the spare room, which is now covered in board game shelves, sort of thing. So I started building the collection again, and Arkham Horror was like the first. I guess it's what got me back into board games because, one of my friends like just invited me over. It was like, hey, we're playing this game, and I'd never heard of it. I had no concept of what it was like. And they, just sat me down and talked me through the rules, and we played. And it took us about, 4 or 5 hours to play through. And I was just like, wow. Because, like, in the time off while I was at uni and all that, board games had sort of changed so much. And so I got back and I was like, wow, this is what a board game can be now. This is amazing. And so literally, the next couple of paydays, I bought the core set, and then each month I'd buy the next sort of add-on until I had the whole sort of thing. And I was just like, "Ooh, yeah, this is my thing now. I feel like I can, I want to be a board gamer."
Yeah, that is really cool. I totally agree. There are some more kind of deeper games that are older, but they weren't very popular. But now there's just so many amazing games and clever ideas and mechanics and so I totally get that. If I was a kid right now, I would be so ecstatic about all the games I could play all day.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But I'm wondering, like, I don't know whether I'm unique in that, like, or whether a lot of people sort of play them when they're younger and then they go off them, and because they say, don't they, that like, when you get to a certain, when you're in your 30s, all the cool stuff that you liked as a kid is suddenly cool again. So like, stuff like Power Rangers, love a bit of Power Rangers now.
Totally.
It's almost, you've gone away from it for like 10, 15 years. So now it's like retro cool again.
Yeah. No, I totally agree, because I was the same way. I used to play Pokemon and Magic the Gathering.
Yeah.
And I loved it. And then we would play a lot of other board games. We would make our own little board games that were just ripoffs of like Zelda.
Yeah.
And then coming back at it, at some point we just stopped.
Yeah.
Maybe like high school or something. I don't know.
I think it's almost like when you're a kid, like board gaming, it's sort of looked down upon. People think, oh, it's it's nerdy. You're a loser. Whatever. Let's go outside and play football. Lads. But
yeah,
when you're an adult, stuff like that doesn't matter so much. Who cares? Board games are cool.
Exactly. People will still make fun of me for it, but that's fine.
But who cares? Because I've got a real job and everything.
Yeah. No, it's really cool seeing how many, even people I knew in high school, like how many of them are really, really into board games now. There's definitely been a resurgence, and COVID, I think, even amplified that even more.
Well, yeah, but I think as well, like stuff like board game cafes, they never existed when I was younger.
Oh, yeah.
But now they're everywhere.
Do I have a board game cafe here in Utah? I don't know.
Well, in the whole of Utah, there must be.
I would hope so. I'm going to look it up. I mean, not that I could go now, but...
No. But yeah, I just think it's so much more accessible to everyone. And with stuff like... oh, God, I can't even remember what it's called. Is it Tabletopia? Or, the one where you can play them online?
Yeah, Tabletopia or Tabletop Simulator.
Yeah,
Board
stuff
Game
like
Arena.
that.
Yeah.
It makes them more accessible to more people. Because, everyone has got a smartphone or a laptop or whatever, whereas not everyone is going to be willing to shell out, sometimes 60 plus quid for a box of basically cardboard. Nicely printed cardboard cut into cool shapes. But it's, there's no denying that some of the, they are expensive, and not everyone can justify sort of spending that money on them, I guess.
Yeah. that makes me think of how much of a kid I feel like with board games. And I don't necessarily feel ashamed about it most of the time. Every once in a while, I get a little bit embarrassed about like how excited I am about components, or
Oh,
and I'm just like,
I
it's like a toy for me. I'm so excited.
I love so my I get a new board game and I have to get every bit punching all the tokens out of the die cut boards and
Mm-hmm.
looking through there and just flicking through the decks of cards and looking at the picture. Oh, I love it. I could happily just get one and say to Mark, right, I'm going downstairs for a couple of hours. I'll be back when I'm finished looking through all the bits.
Yeah. My wife and I, our tradition is I'll read the rule book because I love reading rule books.
Yeah.
And then she loves punching out the die cut boards.
Oh, nice.
And so she does that. I like doing it, but it's like that's one of her highlights for playing. So I'm like, okay, you get to punch them all out.
That's nice. Yeah. Well, it's good that you each play a part in the unboxing process.
Yeah. But the terrible part is that I am so bad at explaining how to play games. So I read the rules, explain it to her, and it just ends in like some frustration of being like, okay, you know what, let's just start playing and you'll get it within like 10 minutes, okay?
Yeah, I sort of compartmentalize rules of like, okay, this is an important one that I need to tell people, and this one I'll save for if it comes up,
Yeah.
But the same. So this week, obviously, we played Jumanji Flux, and there's a different element where you can be eliminated. And I just thought, oh well, Mark will get a card that mentions elimination, and then he'll ask me what it means, and that's when I'll tell him. But he never did. He just like, oh well, Phil hasn't explained this, so I just won't play that card. And so it turns out like he could have eliminated me loads of times, but he just didn't ask.
Oh, funny. And then you get accused of cheating.
I know, but he knows me better than that. I would never cheat, honest.
That's my wife. I've tried doing that similar thing of like, okay, I'm not going to explain everything. And then all of a sudden she'll try and do something and be like, oh, well, actually you can't do that because of this. She's like, you're just making that up to try and stop me.
But often it's like sometimes like seeing it from someone else's point of view, like Mark will try and do a move and yeah, you're right. I'll be like, no, you can't do that. But it's literally because I would never have done that. Like never I was like, I just wouldn't have even considered that as a possible move. And yet he's there, like, what are you doing?
That's funny. Well, outside of board games, what are your guys' hobbies?
So that is a tough one. I'm quite a big Nintendo fanboy, so lots of like Nintendo games when we're in video game mood.
Nice. Is it Nintendo specific or anything, Xbox and?
So I have pretty much had just only the Nintendo. I used to have a Sega Mega Drive or a Genesis for you guys.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But other than that, like, yeah, Nintendo. So the first console that it was really well, it's funny, but it's not funny really when you think about it. So my parents aren't together, and so the same Christmas they both bought us an N64. So I got one and my brother got one, and like we were the cool kids because like, oh wow, they've got an N64 each. Check them out.
Yeah.
And so from the N64 onwards, I've had every Nintendo console. I've got them all lined up on my shelf like a big geek.
Nice. Oh, so you've kept them and everything. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a big, well, not a hoarder, but a collector of stuff. So like, even though like, I don't know, the Wii is obsolete because you can play all the Wii games on the Wii U and there's really no reason to have a Wii. But I'm like, well, but it's part of the sequence, so I've got to have it.
I feel like I'm talking to a version of me. I'm such a collector, and my wife is like, just throw this away. You don't need it. Like, Pandemic season 1 and 2. We're finished. We beat it. You don't need to keep it.
Oh, no. Sorry, Mrs. Stock, but that is wrong.
Right? I'm glad you can relate.
How did you find? Because so we're only 2 games into Pandemic Legacies season 1. But what are your thoughts on legacy games? Because I know you did an episode with Rob Daviau, right?
Yeah, which was amazing.
How did that happen?
He went on Twitter and he just asked if he's like, "Hey, Pandemic Season 0 is coming out. If anyone wants us to come on their podcast or do an interview with me, I'm doing the media rounds." And I was like, "Well, I guess I'll try."
That is so amazing.
Yeah, it was kind of mind blowing, and I was.
Were you starstruck?
I was. I say, I've met several celebrities, and almost every single time I say something really dumb.
Come on, you can't set that up and not give us an example.
Well, I met the lead singer of a band back in the day.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love you so much, man. I love you. I'm not gay or anything, but I love you." And I was like, "What? Why did I say that?" Another one, Manu Bennett. I asked him what cologne he wore because he smelled so good.
Nice.
So
did he tell you?
He did not. No.
Oh dear.
It was weird. Well, and I also asked him why he was here, in Utah. And he's like, "Oh, well, my dentist is here." And I'm like, "You're from New Zealand and you're coming to Utah for the dentist? What?"
Is Utah particularly well known for its dental care?
No,
that's what would be on your Monopoly board.
Yeah, that's the most expensive space.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at meeting celebrities, but I didn't make too much of a fool of myself. I did forget to hit record. And 15 minutes into the interview, I realized it.
Oh, no. Did you have to start again?
Yeah. He was mid-story, and I was like, "Rob, I'm so sorry to stop you right there. I forgot to hit record." And he was like, he gave me a tough time about it, but jokingly.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I'd hate, because there's a difference, isn't there, between people like us and people whose profession it is
yeah.
Ooh.
Exactly. And I think that kind of went to show me what the board game community is like, really. You have this designer who is the father of legacy games.
Yeah.
And he was so cool. He could have been like, "You know what? You just wasted 15 minutes of my time. That was very unprofessional. Bye."
Yeah.
You know? But he was just like, "Oh no," okay. And then when we started recording, he was just like, "I'm going to throw you under the bus." We had a real solid interview and, just joking with me.
But that's kind of reassuring. I would like to think that most people in the business can still have I like to imagine them still having game nights with their families or their mates or whatever. And still, I would hate to think of anyone sort of just seeing it as a job and just being like, "Oh, got to review this game because I have to. Oh, got to play test this game because it's a job. Boring."
Exactly. Yeah. So Kids on Bikes, I skipped over to that episode because I kind of saw you did a multi thing, and I'm really actually excited to listen to it in order. I have to listen to it in order now.
Yes, you do. That was just... It started, so obviously we did a normal episode about it, but we had so much fun doing it. And obviously because we recorded it for that one episode, I was like, "Do you know what? Let's record every session and I'll just edit it into some sort of vague storyline." And it's just so hilarious. The amount of editing I have to do to just cut out where there is minutes of laughter. It's just such good fun. And, it's one that we can do over Zoom. So yeah, the sound quality is awful. Some of my friends' microphones keep cutting in and out. It sounds utter trash. but
Yeah.
it's so much fun to do. So much
Oh,
fun.
I love it. I'm so excited to dive into that. Like, that's what I was listening to right before you jumped on.
Nice.
So I
Cool. Well,
was,
I hope you enjoy it.
oh, thanks. I am so far. Um, do you ever get to do like, do you ever do paid promotions,
No.
reviews, or?
No. So it's not, I mean, do you remember, cast your mind back? Do you remember when I said I was rubbish at strategizing board games? The same
Uh-huh.
is sort of true for my life in general. So, like, I mean, there are some people whose, first instinct would be, right, I've set up this podcast. Let's get monetizing it. Let's get a Patreon or whatever. Let's get some sponsors. Let's try and do it. And I don't know. I'm just having too much fun to think about that sort of thing. And also I'm under no delusions that it is anywhere near sort of professional enough. Or do you know what I mean? It's like I'm just doing it as something fun. And hey, if people like it and people listen to it, then that is a win. But I'm having fun making it. So
That's true. And you can tell, like, it's a joy to listen to it.
Oh, that's very nice of you to say. It's weird that, like, sometimes you can tell if either if we're playing one that Mark really really hates, it's obvious, but that's the beauty of editing.
Yeah, it's true. Oh, that's cool. If only we could edit ourselves in the moment.
Oh yeah, that would be good. But then again, I think I try and leave as much stuff in. I like to come across as real people, and I know I have a spreadsheet, and every game has its turn, and we have to do everything in a specific way. So sometimes I come across as a bit robotic, but I hope that when people listen, that they can just hear, here's two guys just playing a game. There's no, it's not polished. We're not all putting on our broadcasting voices or whatever. It's just as natural as it can be, I suppose.
Yeah. You come across very well. And I love the little mistakes every once in a while. Like you messed up reading the rules and you just sort of like laugh about it and then reread it and go. And I'm like, oh, I like that he left that in. That was that was a good choice.
I just like, I don't know how to explain it. Part of it, people might think, oh, it's just lazy editing, but I just like having the human parts, the errors and stuff in. It's funny.
Yeah, I think so. It's charming. It has some charm to it.
Well, that's the highest praise you can give, I think, to be charming.
Yeah, definitely. I hope that I would recommend board game design, or if somebody's going to run a Kickstarter, they should send it your way because your reviews are short, 20 minutes about, and very good. Like it makes. I mean, even though you both rated Arkham Horror 3, I think final hour.
Yeah,
I was still like, like I'm still kind of interested in that.
But I think I don't know if. I don't really class us as a review podcast. I don't know. I mean, obviously,
really?
It's inescapable. Yes, we make reviewing comments, but I think, like there are some in-depth reviews where they will talk about every component and every aspect of the gameplay and every little minute detail. So you know exactly what you're getting and you know exactly what your gaming experience will be. Whereas we tend to just, I don't know, pick out the stuff that just sticks in our mind or just stays with us from playing, I guess. I don't know, it sounds really, I mean, yeah, I guess we do review games, but I still don't really class us as a review. Oh, I don't know, I'm just talking rubbish now.
No, I get what you're saying. Like, you guys are just kind of summarizing your experience.
Yeah.
But that is what a review is.
Yeah, no, I suppose. I guess it's because we don't make any like recommendations at the end, oh, it's good value for money and it's this, and if you're looking for a game that you want to play with, your nan or whatever, then this is the game for you. There's none of that, or we try and avoid that. Although lately we have started, it's a game that you'd give to your friends to play whilst you make the dinner.
It's great, and everyone should go listen to it. It's Organized Play.
Organised Fun.
Organised Fun. Oh my goodness, how did I mess that up? Organized Fun. I was actually focused on the organized part because you spell it with an S.
Oh, is that offensive to you guys? Are you just, it's constantly bugging you, right? You can see it out of the corner of your eye and you're just like, I can't get over it. Do you feel
exactly
sick in your mouth a little bit because of it?
Like, S? Well,
yeah. I don't know why that is. Like,
yeah, I figured that was just a, European thing.
But whatever, I mean, technically it's our language, right? You just stole it.
It's true, yeah.
But do you know the Game Crafter website?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I've, just got a few, decks of cards and stuff printed from there, but they're really good.
Nice. For games that you've made?
Yeah. So I have a webcomic and I made my own sort of Flux set based on that, but obviously not called Flux because shush, that's probably illegal. But it's basically just Flux, but with my own little comic characters and stuff on it. But yeah, I don't know. There's just something about having your stuff printed professionally. Like, ooh, look at this. People will be tricked into thinking that it's a real game.
That is really cool. What's your webcomic?
Yeah, it's called Clamp Oswell's College Years. And it's based on my time at uni, really. I just sort of started doodling and it just became this thing. And someone was like, you should just put that. Again, it's another thing. Like, I don't really care whether no one reads it or not, but it's there. If should anyone want to, it is there for people.
Where is it at? What's the website?
It's www.clamposwell.com.
Perfect. I'll go check it out. I love webcomics.
It's it looks pretty shoddy, but hopefully there's some humor in there.
Nice. That's the thing. If it's funny enough, who cares what it looks like, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's generally my sort of tagline in life. Looks and sounds kind of shoddy, but might make you laugh. So give it a go, yeah?
Yeah. That was my mom's motto for me. Like, she would say, "You're not very good looking, so you've got to make up for it somewhere."
There you go. Do you have any siblings?
Yeah, I've got 3 brothers and a sister.
Where do you come in the order of?
I'm the middle center of the universe.
So
you?
I've got one older brother. So, I like to think as the youngest, they kept trying for perfection and they got me and then they stopped. It's fine. Nice. You don't need any more once I'm there. Yeah,
totally. Danny thinks that about himself, but I let him know that they just gave up. It was too frustrating.
Yeah.
I know you don't have a sister because you mentioned it on Isle of Cats.
No, yeah, that's true. That was just really weird. Just the way the rule book mentioned you've got to fight against your sister or whatever. It was like, that is very specific.
Well, and then Mark mentioned that there's like a story mode or kind of a campaign mode or something like that.
Yeah.
And so it's maybe in the context of the story, you're playing as...
Who knows? But he didn't even punch out all the bits when he was setting it up. I was just baffled.
Really?
Yeah. He literally read the quick setup rules and only got the bits that he needed for that.
Oh my goodness.
I know. Gross, right?
Yeah, that is so weird. I just can't imagine not diving headfirst into the game.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love listening to it because you guys remind me of me and my wife.
Yay.
You're like me and like deeper games and like...
Mark's totally the wife, right?
Yes, yeah. And my wife is just like something fast and something easy, something simple.
But I wonder whether that makes for a better gaming experience. Like, if everyone was the same level of depth and intense as like me or you, like, imagine playing with 6 versions of yourself.
That is true.
I'm not sure that would be... Yeah, that would be annoying because around 6 versions of me round a table, we'd all claim that we know the rules perfectly, but we'd all be absolutely rubbish at strategy and make a big mess of it, you know?
Same.
So I think maybe it's good to have a balance of different types of gamer, as long as they're all equally as committed for that hour or so. I can't be doing with, I'll just pop out. You know, it's all there on the gaming etiquette list on the website. You know, like, I don't care what your next door neighbour's doing. I don't care about this. You are hunting this ruby at this moment, so shush you.
Exactly. My wife's mom, whenever we play games with her, she is out of her chair just as much as she is in it. I'm like, just sit down and let's play this game.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, again, it sounds like I'm ranting now, but I don't get people who start a game and don't finish it or don't pay attention to it. It's like, well, you chose to play. You chose, unless you're Mark, in which case you've been forced. But 9 times out of 10, you have chosen to play. So why aren't you giving it your all?
Yeah, totally.
Some people just haven't got the gaming stamina.
I know. Well, it's kind of funny because my wife, she doesn't love super deep games, but she absolutely loves Pandemic. And season 1 and 2, both of those, we pretty much played in 2 sittings.
Nice.
So we would stay up until 4 a.m. playing.
I was going to say, that's 12 to 24 games, depending on how bad you are.
Yeah. I think we only lost once or twice. We did pretty good.
Oh my God. I mean, as I said, we were on February and we've lost 4 times.
Isn't there a mercy rule in it? Oh,
I don't know. If there is, we haven't got to it yet.
I guess the mercy rule is that if you lose a month twice, you just move on to the next.
You just move on anyway. Yeah, time takes pity on you and lets you go anyway.
Yeah. Oh no, what it is they add a card. You'll get event cards added.
Yes, you get a little bonus, don't you, for sucking?
For sucking, yep. Because they're like, okay, let's make it easier next time for them.
You can just imagine the board game gods looking over your shoulder, shaking their heads, going, "Poor cretin."
Exactly. Well, I think we should probably wrap up, huh?
Oh yeah, I've got Zoom with the in-laws in about 20 minutes, so yeah.
Very exciting.
I know, right? Lucky me. Woo.
Your common law in-laws.
Yeah, I'm gonna look if that's a thing.
Yeah,
because Mark might not know, but we may already technically be married.
Yeah. As far as the country's concerned, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. We need to wrap this up, so go ahead and plug what you've got.
Okay, well, so obviously we're Organised Fun. You can just type that into wherever you get your podcasts, but you can find us on Facebook at Organised Fun, or you can follow us on Twitter at Fun Organised, because Organised Fun was already taken, so I had to swap it around. Shucks. But yeah, if you like listening to one gamer and one hater battle it out every week, then give us a listen. Thank you.
It is such a great listen, so really do check it out. I love it. Well, thank you for joining us, and until next week, keep nerding out. That's what I'd say on the other podcast. I need to figure out the sign off.
You need a catchy jingle. You need a Latin motto.
What does yours mean?
Oh, so it loosely translates as "don't leave the box lid off" or "never leave a box open" or something like that.
Oh, okay.
So we came up with this idea that if you don't pack away the game, then you're allowed to play it again straight after. But as soon as you pack it away, then it goes back on the shelf and it's another game's turn. So yeah, we roughly sort of very shoddily translated that into Latin.
Love it. That is awesome.
which we have done a few times. You know, if we're really into a game, we'll let's play it again straight away. It works.
But if you leave the lid off, your cat is gonna get into it.
So there's some sneaky ninja tactics about getting in and out of the room without letting the cat in. It involves lots of cat treats and, waving of little fish toys and stuff. Distraction techniques.
Nice. Thanks for listening to the Board Game Community Show. You can follow me at Nerd Out With Us. And if there's somebody that you would like to get to know better within the board game community, you can @ me or DM me and let me know who it is. No matter how big, no matter how small, I'll have anyone on the show. I'll reach out to them and ask them to come on. And if you want to come on the show, you are more than welcome to reach out as well and just say, hey, I want to come on the show. You don't even have to have anything to plug. You could just be like, hey, I just want to hang out. I would love that. All right, everybody. Thanks so much again for listening, and until next week, keep playing board games.